This material comes from a 1987 sermon by Reverend Dr. Gani, entitled A Lesson from Palm Sunday, Change. The decision to go into Jerusalem was a very bold one. Christ goes into Jerusalem on Sunday morning, then on Monday he goes to the temple. He sits there and he hears the pigs, the animals, the money changers, and he gets utterly disgusted and very angry. He gets up and swiftly goes to open up all the animal cages to release the animals, and then goes to the money changer tables and overturns them. Everybody flees. There is an incredible amount of relief and joy because a lot of people had a lot of negative feelings about the money changers' ridiculous exchange rates. The temple demanded that all offerings be paid with a certain currency. Therefore, it was necessary to go to the money changers who were licensed by the temple to change the money into the correct currency. When the Christ overturned the tables, he signed his death warrant. Because he threatened these hypocritical people's lives. He introduced a situation of change that they did not want to accept. He, who was the embodiment of change, was a threat to these people. And he knew it. So on Tuesday, we are told, he says, there is no peace. We have to accept a situation whereby our very task is to penetrate those things that do not want to change, that we will not have peace on the outer level. Peace is an illusion. Only peace inside is a reality. You will always have to live in conflict on the outside. This is the reality of our dualistic world, the three-dimensional plane. When you accept that, then you will be happy. When you see those conflicts as you see anything else, you will glide over them the way you glide over cooking breakfast or other things that you have already mastered. So your problems will seem a lot easier to handle. What we are talking about here is change. That is what it is all about. Love is change. God is change. A constant flux of change, continual and perpetual. Only and to the degree that we accept the fact that it is with continuous change, can we come to the point that we find peace. We stop fighting against change and we accept it, flowing with the river of life, tapping into the flux and at the same time the eternal. As we resist the idea that things change, then we do not find peace. We will constantly be in conflict because we will be pitted against those things that don't want to change. We are like a boulder in the midst of the river of life, refusing to move, refusing to accept, refusing to yield, refusing to open our eyes to greater truth. An example of how we don't want to change can be found in when we talk or think about eternal life, how we want to live forever and we don't want to die. What kind of image do we have? We have an image of ourselves as the way we look now or when we were younger. That is the way we want to live forever. That is a static image of who you are. That which precludes change is anti-life That which precludes change goes against life. If you want to stay the same all the time, then you don't want life. You are really wanting death, anti-life. So that very image of staying the same precludes your having eternal life. I want to look the same way, do the same things, say the same things, live in the same place, and maybe stay the same. That is not life. That is anti-life, and it is death. That is how we become petrified. The word petrified means fear, fear of life. Fear is the opposite of movement. Fear of change, fear of the unknown. We mistake laziness for eternal life. We see eternal life as sitting there in stillness, in a state of beatitude for the rest of our lives. That is not life. That is death. You might as well be a statue. There is no self-expression without change. There is nothing. And there are areas of our life where we know this. If we see an infant, we accept the fact that the infant will change into childhood and then become an adolescent and finally an adult. We accept the change on the physical level, whereas it is a lot more difficult to accept change on other levels. We accept a rather easy change on the physical level, but on the emotional level, we don't accept it. We want to stay an adolescent on the emotional level. On the mental level, we don't accept it either. We don't want to learn new things. And on the spiritual level, we accept it least of all, because we do not take care to continuously nourish and exercise ourselves on the spiritual level. We say God will take care of that. But nothing could be further from the truth. Each one of these things is as true as it is to muscles. We have physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual muscles. If you don't exercise them, they atrophy and die. Holy Week, the Easter celebration, is about death and resurrection and change. That is what spring is about. A tree goes through death and resurrection and change. Everything in nature goes through this process, including us. How do we allow Christ to be born in our hearts? How do we follow in the footsteps of the Christ? By allowing ourselves to change, to challenge ourselves, to take risks, to risk conflict, to overturn tables. That is the only way we can accomplish our tasks. If you'd like to read further, many books by Reverend Dr. Gani are available on our website, churchofthepath.org.